Hey, what's up, guys? Your average wargamer is back with a video in which I would like to talk about the upcoming classified document that the wargaming is currently working on in the public test server right now to test for the randoms as well as maybe the operations. And honestly, if you ask me and my thoughts, I think this is a terrible idea. And the community says that so. I mean, why this terrible idea? Well, you can clearly find out in some of the comments as well as some of my thoughts that why it is not a good idea to come up with these classified documents. Now, first of all, if you don't know what classified document really is and what they have done changes to that, I will show you that quickly. So, the classified documents are simply sort of a mechanics that Wargaming is testing right now that lets you pick 3 ships to get buffs against at the start of every game. It was changed to purely defensive buffs. Like it used to have some buffs. If you pick 3 ships out there, you're going to have some offensive sort of buffs. For example, like you can just do that percentage of armament with AP or HE or whatever. Okay, they have changed that because they realized that this is actually going to get a bit toxic, that you have just straight up better firepower if you just click at the start of the match against that specific player, whether it is Unicum, whether it is a CV player, which might be really interesting because, well, you can do certainly some better job in dealing against carriers. But again, the carriers does not spot for a long time. Obviously, they spawn at the corner of the map, so the buff's not gonna make much sense. But then they have decided to come up with purely defensive buffs, 5% reduction of all damage, and a further 5% from a specific armament. CVs also take 5% more plain damage. Now, honestly, if you ask me, if you hate carriers, I think this might be a very good move because, well, you just simply click a carrier at the start of every match. Like at tier 10, you're just simply going to click the CV and you will just do some damage to the planes, as well as also going to take some less damage overall against CVs, which is, I would say, nice. But again, you're just specifically clicking a single guy and you're just making sort of nerf onto him because you just click at the start of the match and you can just click up to 3 ships at the start of the match. Like, what sort of this mechanic will bring wargaming any sort of advantage or anything that makes it good for the game? I don't understand this. You think that so? I don't think so, that you should be thinking like wargaming if you might be liking this by the fact that you can have some advantage over CV. Because again, the feature you didn't want, the one you didn't ask for, the one you can live without. Like it's not like something that is a need. Right now we need maps. We need some interesting game moves. Like, for example, they have removed the asymmetric mood, which a lot of players do like, and they just removed it because apparently, well, in the randoms, the player quality or the quantity just decreased because a lot of players like to play asymmetric battles. Now, how does that make sense? Well, for wargaming, it makes complete sense because they like to see a lot of those apes and monkeys in randoms rather than, any other game mode. Now I can understand, like 40% players, these are apes and monkeys in my opinion. But again, the players who are genuinely looking to have some fun, because sometimes you feel like an ape and monkey because the way the random works is just a fiesta, feast or famine sort of situation in randoms, which at least not going to happen in asymmetric because you do have a chance to just have some sort of good game impact against bots if you like that sort of way. I believe that it's good. I don't know about the wargaming. It just does not make sense for me to see what wargaming is doing. Like, there are a couple of more comments which I would like to share. Now, there are more interesting comments. I think this is probably a bit interesting to me. I mean, the 100% optimal play is to use matchmaking monitor and nerf the purples or 55% plus division on the enemy team. Now, yeah, that's another implication of this classified documents, that you just single-handedly click that guy which you kind of don't like because they are really good players, and you just reducing their potential against you because you just click the guy. Now, it might be very good if you are maybe a new player or maybe not the best of the players compared to the Unicum players, but again, it just does not make sense. For example, if someone do against you, how would you feel like, really? I mean, you certainly saw a Yamato, right? And that Yamato actually clicked you, and obviously you cannot do that much damage. I mean, it's only like 5% or whatever. Like, it's very, very low and very few numbers that will be reduced from here and there. But still, if someone will do against you, if Yamato shoots at you, you will just not gonna get at least I would say 100% of the damage what Yamato used to do. It will be 95% of them, but still it's gonna feel not that good, right? For the Yamato player, if he clicks on you, or for the vice versa, I still think that this mechanic is kind of bad, unless only acceptable if we get one that gives 20% to AA and 20% damage from A strike. I think that might be pretty cool, right? But that's what they don't want. And there are a couple of more implications that players has looked at, which I would like to share with you. I think this is another Reddit post where some people are now assuming that it is going to force everyone to hide their profile. Now, I don't agree with that, but still, it is an interesting perspective to look at, because again, if the profile is hidden, it's only the ship class or maybe a ship itself that is maybe broken, and then you might be able to click onto that guy and he will do less damage against you, right? That's what I think. Like, now he is saying that the ability to nerf a specific player is going to cause a huge disadvantage to good players, which I do agree to some extent. It's like very, very low percentage. But again, someone is clicking you or you are clicking on him, it just feels bad, right? It just feels weird. It's like a specific nerf, even though it's defensive. Okay, but the flags still look good, but classified document does not. And I do believe that they might be coming up with some sort of hideous monetization scheme, which we might not know really. That's what I do believe. Okay, so now he started to come up with something like, okay, it might be oppressive against good players or whatever, so you can just hide your profile, which I would say is a bit absurd. I mean, you're just hiding a profile for classified documents. Maybe if you fear that you might going to get a lot much more clicked by someone, then it might be somewhat valid, or maybe something that might be useful, but I don't think so. And again, there are some good comments against the comment or main OP above, that to be honest, it isn't hard to guess a good player even if their profile is hidden, which I agree. I mean, if you he's talking about the emblem or maybe the clan tag, whatever he is in the clan right now, you might be able to assume that he's a good player from these sort of facts, right? But again, I don't understand, like, why they have to come up with this idea to just make the gameplay a bit more complicated than it is already too much complicated. Okay, so there are a couple of more comments which I would like to highlight. That is by Green Devil 97. He's talking about you overestimate a few things. The average player does not have a matchmaking monitor or is too lazy to use it, which I agree with that. Like, I don't think so. A lot of players in World of Warships does use the matchmaking monitor, which kind of shows you who is good or who is bad. So kind of for them, it's about the class itself. If someone just hates carrier class or submarine class, I think they will just simply click it, and that kind of makes you feel good. But still, it's again some sort of clicking on a specific class or player or whatever, that just does not click with my mind in this game, honestly, if you ask me. Okay, the second point, he said that the sub 47 to 40% players have no idea how to even play the game. This mechanic will also await their mental capacity, and I kind of agree with that. Like, for example, these players, again, I call them sort of rush and maybe suicide weekend warriors. I just call them these sort of players who just don't know what they're doing. They just suicide, they just play like ape, and they just do nothing in the game. They're just here at the bottom they're always there at the bottom of the team. So I mean, they're most likely going to click a GK, which I don't think so it's a good idea to click on a GK. I mean, or maybe something like in general a class or a ship that just is not going to have huge impact against you. And I kind of believe that they might do that because of their mental capacity, which I agree with that. And then obviously the third part is the Unicums will use it the most against other Unicums, which I would agree. Like, Unicums most likely who are going to have a matchmaking monitor, and they will just click each other, reducing their alpha, and that's it. So it does not going to give any value added in the game. Like, we could have maps, we could have visual updates, we could have weather effects like Lesta has, and I will talk about Lesta in maybe the upcoming video. But no, Wargaming is just like, Oh, we have implemented the classified documents before and we want to add it in randoms because it might earn them some money, which I don't understand that how they will be able to earn or monetize this whole thing. Maybe they come up with the ships that have classified documents. Oh my goodness, that would be absolutely ridiculous. Like, I don't know. They are testing it right now for randoms, that's for sure. There are many implications. At the moment, I'm just still thinking that why they are coming up with this sort of dumb mechanic that no one needs, but still we are getting it in the game. Rather than maybe the visuals, the maps, maybe some good quality bug fixes that we all need right now compared to the Lesta, which has improved significantly their game client. And again, there is another player, or maybe the guy on the Reddit. He said, I much rather they just not implement it at that point. Again, I think that is also my point of view. If bad players aren't gonna use it and good players are gonna stat snipe each other, there is no point of this mechanic. Perfectly answered. Just give us consumables, modules, captain swapping at the beginning of the matches, and that, which is great. If you don't like carriers and you struggle against carriers, give us the option to just switch from Hydro to defensive AFI because you think that this carrier is strong. For example, I have talked about many times like the Shinano is so ridiculously bad to fight against, or broken to fight against. You just give yourself a defensive AA mechanic instead of Hydro because you know that you're going to get shit by that CV. I think that would be nice. But again, this is the guy who entirely said the right thing, just like I think for this mechanic, right? Again, I don't know. I think at the end, what do you think? Will you do something like this guy has said? It's an AC9 mechanic. I think I just pronounced it correctly. I think that I did. Apologies if I didn't. Well, and I will avoid any mood if it is the part of until it goes away. Do you do something like this? If they implement this successfully and they will come up with this sort of idea in the live service. Thankfully, I don't play ops and seldom play random, so I can ignore this foolishness. Okay, so yeah, what do you think about this? Would you just gonna take a bit of a break from the game until they might just get this idea that people don't like it? Whether you just gonna be fine with just a nerf of 5%, it's nothing too much. You're still going to have the 95% of your firepower against someone that has clicked you. Just let me know in the comments. But I think there are some valid points, and that's why I would like to highlight that. And yeah, give me some of your thoughts in the comments below, because I would like to hear from you guys. What do you think about the classified documents? I don't think so it's a good thing for the game, but Wargaming does. But do you? Please let me know in the comments. And thank you for watching.